The following podcast has been rated PGN. Parental guidance is neglected.
Boy, it's been a long time since we've had a little father-son chat.
I am your father.
Father, if you can hear me, I failed.
Don't let your mother smell that beer on your breath. She'll take it out on me.
I'm here with my dad.
I know what you're gonna say, son. And you're right. You're right.
Who is your daddy and what does he do?
I've abandoned my boy!
Hey everybody, this is Regan Burns, and I'm officially starting the episode. We've decided that every week, one of us, we didn't decide it, we just do it. Someone switches off and just starts talking.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's not really an intro. I mean, it's not scripted or anything.
No, we just kind of go into it.
We just kind of go into it. You know what I've noticed, and I got to take a sip of my my Celsius energy drink, not a sponsor. Yet. Yeah, add that yet in. Oh, your level's really hot. Bring it down just a bit, wherever you can. You're probably blowing people out right now.
Okay.
What was I just? Oh, I was just saying. Normally, before we go on the air, you and I have like a little small chat first. We didn't even have that. We just jumped right into this.
We just went right in. Yeah,
We jumped right in. So I'm going to start with the obvious for the YouTube fans who are watching the PGN podcast. Parental guidance is neglected. Father and son discussing films, pop culture, and whatever else happens to come up. Jackson, your backdrop looks a lot different than what it normally looks like. Are you in some kind of
like a prison? I don't know. This is so crazy.
Why don't you tell? I put a little teaser out there on the interweb, but why don't you tell everybody where you are right now? Because you're not in your normal dorm setting.
No, I'm not. I'm currently quarantined in a separate dorm because I got COVID.
You got the COVID.
I got the COVID. It happened. I was home stretch and I caught it right at the end of school. This should be my last day. My quarantine roommate.
How long have you been in the quarantine?
So I've been in an unofficial quarantine since I've been exposed, which was Saturday, the previous Saturday. So I've been quarantined for 6 days. I've been quarantined, like hardcore quarantined in this room for 4 now.
Wow. So you've been in that room for 4 days.
Yep, since Monday. And
what is that
Friday.
Room? I mean, where are you? Are you in a prison,
I'm in
a holding cell?
I'm in a dorm, but it is a far worse dorm. The air conditioning is centralized, which means that we have no control of the temperature that comes out.
You don't have air conditioning?
They were blasting hot air the first 2 nights.
Why don't
miserable.
Why don't you call that handyman who showed up in episode 2 and fixed your? Where's our buddy Frank? Or
that's a good point. Yeah. We both can't remember his name, but
whatever his name was.
His name was.
You should call him and say, "Hey, I need your services again."
It's ridiculous, though. We have we're missing that. We have no fridge or microwave, so we have no way of making food. We just have the food that they give us, which they get wrong all the time.
Where is you're having? Okay, so the school has moved you out of your dorm. Did your roommate test positive as well?
He did, but not until afterwards. So I probably would have stayed with my roommate originally, but because we didn't know if he was positive yet, I just moved out.
Okay, so your roommate who's also got the COVID, he is still in your dorm room.
Yes.
You tested first, and they moved you out as a precautionary method into another dorm.
Yes.
And are you living alone?
No, I have a roommate.
So you're infecting you're infecting a new person.
No, he tested positive 5 minutes after I did, and I was like, we should just stay together.
Did you all just go to the same makeout session, or how does everybody that you know suddenly have COVID?
So I was kind of, unfortunately, the catalyst for a lot of COVID cases, which really is unfortunate. But
you're ground zero.
So what happened was we were shooting a music video for my cinematography final. If you follow me on Instagram, I've been promoting it a lot. But we got halfway through the shoot.
Okay.
And I'm setting up for our first shot after dinner. We had just eaten. I'm setting up for our first shot after dinner, and the person whose garage we're shooting in their little sister walks in with a mask on.
Okay.
And she's walking around and checking out what we're doing. And the garage, by the way, is completely blacked out. So there's no circulation. We've gotten every exit covered.
Well, you're making a music video. You got to. Yeah. Okay. By the way, not to completely derail, we'll get back to that. What kind of music video was this? Was this kind of like chicks in bikinis at a car wash, or did it have kind of like a Duran Duran 80s feel? I mean, what was the?
It was like a narrative. It was a narrative. It was like a narrative music video. Well, I'm gonna put out promo for it for what we shot. So we're gonna reshoot it next next semester.
Okay.
So we're gonna put some promotion.
So you're shooting a video.
We did shoot.
You're shooting a music video, apparently a pretty boring one, in a garage covered with Duvetine because
I won't spoil anything.
You notice that the little sister of the girl. Is this a friend of yours' house you were shooting in?
It was a friend of a friend, so I don't know this guy personally.
Gotcha.
But I just know that the producer secured our location for us, and we're shooting in this person's garage.
Okay, and there's a girl running around with a mask, a little girl.
No, not a little. It's his older sister.
Older? How old is she?
Who's old enough to be a nurse.
Oh, nurse. Is she wearing like a hot little nurse outfit? Is that the video
just
theme?
Normal clothes.
No,
so normal.
Can I take your temperature? No,
oh
nothing
my
like
God. No. But anyways,
sounds like a Blink 182 video.
She starts talking with my producer, and this is the conversation. I'm setting up the shot, and I'm the only one that heard this conversation, by the way, because they're kind of we're all kind of in the corner, and he's like, "By the way, you don't have to feel obligated to wear a mask. Like, we're all vaccinated. If you feel like you don't need to wear a mask, that's totally fine. But if you want to, up to you." And she goes, "No, it's okay. I just want to wear it because I'm positive." And I just go, like, I did a little head turn. I was like, "What?" And I think my producer Diego, he kind of didn't understand what she was saying. I think he read it as, "I'm positive I don't want to take my mask off," because she walked away and he didn't say anything. And I look and I'm like, "Diego,
she's got COVID. She just
said
she had COVID."
Said? And he's like, "What are you talking about?" And I was like, "She's positive." And he was like, "Oh," and his eyes got really wide. And so we had a bunch of meetings, and then we did a big safety meeting with the whole crew, and we were like, "Look, we gotta shut this down. Like, we've all been exposed to COVID.
Right.
Please get your stuff situated." And that's when I called you.
Is she playing any part in the production of this video at all, or is she just wandering around, just trying to spread just spreading the demon seed as best she can? Now, does she have like one of those hardcore N94 masks, or does she have like a little, like something
a flimsy black one,
like a little whatever, right?
Yeah, and the thing that sucked too was that no one in the family had told us that she was COVID positive, and we had already been in the location, in the house, before this, because we were location scouting. We wanted to see everything, so we had been around everybody inside the house, in their garage that's been completely closed off.
And did you say she's a nurse?
And she's a nurse.
She's a nurse, COVID positive,
yes.
and for no purpose whatsoever besides just to say, "Hey, what's going on?" She's just walking around the garage to check you guys out and see what you're doing.
And the worst part is that afterwards, they kind of like were trying to gaslight us into thinking it wasn't that bad. They were like, she came out, she's like, "By the way, guys, I'm a nurse, and I'm pretty sure I'm fine. Like, I would know, I'm fine." And
what does that mean?
It wasn't fine.
What does that mean?
Because
fine?
She was like, "Oh, I'm past the incubation stage." Like, apparently she tested negative the next day, but it doesn't matter because at that point we had already been in the house a couple days before that, so it could have already set into all of us.
Gotcha.
So I probably already had COVID on that set.
Wow.
As well as the producer and the director.
I think
actually the director didn't even get it. He's fine right now.
Really. I think the most important thing here, and to answer the question that everyone else is thinking about, all of our listeners, I'm okay. I haven't seen. I have not seen Jackson. Everyone, calm down. Do not panic. I have not been exposed.
No,
I am doing well.
He's okay.
Because
I was going to say, but because I got exposed, and I had been before that, likely when I was location scouting, I got everyone on my improv team sick. I got all of my close friends sick. I got everyone on the set sick. Sets that my friends had been on started getting sick.
Oh, boy.
It just spread like wildfire.
What's going on at your college? Is it just a massive quarantine session? I mean, you have finals
I
next
can't
week,
tell
right?
because I feel like everyone in my circle is getting sick, but that makes sense because they've been around me. So I don't know what everyone else's deal is like.
Right. So, but you have a lot of friends who are quarantined right now, right?
Oh, yeah.
Wow. My gosh. Well, I'm glad to hear your school at least is taking the precautions, even if it sounds like they're very ill-equipped for it if you're in a non-air-conditioned, no food, no refrigerator, no stove environment. But at least they threw you in a closet.
No toilet paper, no amenities.
Oh, good,
nothing.
good. Good to see that my hard-earned money is going towards...
And by the way, if you get COVID at USC... if you get COVID at USC, they put you in a hotel and they give you $70 of DoorDash money per day. So that's what
Wow.
That's what could be happening right now.
I think the moral of the story here is maybe you should have worked harder to get into USC.
Nah, forget USC.
No, you're at
I'm saying I forget USC.
Yeah, forget them. Are they still the number one film? They're still number... No, we won't disclose where you are, but you are at one of the top film schools.
USC is 2 or 3, I think.
Yeah, you're right up there with them. So wow. So what have you been doing with the past 4 days? Because we know you haven't been able to go out and see movies. I've had to do all the heavy lifting and sit through the films. What have you?
I haven't gone out and seen movies, but I have watched a lot of movies. I've watched 5, including our one for this week.
Okay.
So I've seen 5 movies. I listened to a lot of different albums.
What has been? List the films that you've seen. We didn't really prepare this, we won't review them, but just initial thoughts, and I'll tell you if I've seen them or not. What? Now, are these things that you had to do for school and you had to watch anyways, or did you just pick some randomly or something?
Just pick some ones I've been meaning to see. One of them was a rewatch. I just wanted to rewatch a movie.
Okay.
One was I rewatched.
And by the way, if these are all porn, I don't want to know.
Okay. I rewatched Wise Old Little Boy. It's a documentary about my favorite musician. Just a really good documentary. I like that one a lot.
Who's your favorite musician?
It's like a concert documentary of the Microphones.
Oh, right.
And then one of his friends, Kyle Fields, going on tour in Washington. Really good.
What is my problem with the Microphones every time this comes up with me and you? What is my biggest pet peeve about the Microphones?
Because it's one guy.
It's one guy, and he calls himself the Microphones.
Well, he does have collaborators, and he has other people on stage with him.
Yeah,
I get what you're saying.
He is the Microphones. That's like me.
If it makes you feel any better, he changed his name to Mount Erie, so it's just
that's worse. That's worse.
Mount Erie is worse.
Instead of being, I'm now a plural band object. I'm now a mountain. No, that doesn't. That's not.
Yeah, Mount Erie.
What's his real name?
Right, well,
what's his real name?
Phil Elverum.
Oh,
very talented.
What if Ed Sheeran all of a sudden said, I'm no longer Ed Sheeran, I am Mount Kilimanjaro. That is now
that'd be pretty cool, actually. That's a cool name.
That would be a cool
Mount
name.
Kilimanjaro? Yeah, I think that's pretty cool.
What if Taylor Swift was suddenly the VCRs? Is that a good?
That would not.
That would
I don't
not
like
be.
that. That
doesn't. Good. All right. So you watched a documentary on the singular Microphones. What else did you watch?
Yep. I watched Prayer for the Rollerboys, which we're
gonna get to that.
We'll get into later.
Oh boy.
I wanted to watch a Gaspar Noé, I think that's how you pronounce his name, film. And I just started with. Someone recommended that I start with this first one. It's like a small short film called Carne. Mm-hmm. Really interesting. I'm not sure if it was my thing. It was really graphic, but
I have absolutely no idea what you're talking about.
You never heard of Climax?
No.
Or Enter the Void?
No, Jackson. I've seen every Bill Murray movie though. So
you never heard of? Those are pretty popular movies.
Again, we're gonna do film student and old man here.
This is actually okay.
Listen, I sat through Portrait of a Chick on Fire. Don't make me watch Gaspar Duval short films.
Gaspar, no. Okay, I feel like you definitely know who this is.
Yeah, I think I saw the trailer for that right before Maverick. Okay, go ahead. What else did you watch?
Oh my god. Okay. This one I know you don't know because it's anime. I watched one called Perfect Blue.
We
know psychological thriller.
We go through this
You can't diss this.
I don't watch
these
cartoons.
These are good movies.
Yeah, I don't watch cartoons.
Next. That's such a dismissal of an entire art form.
It is a complete and utter dismissal. You are absolutely right.
Why?
Because I'm a 53-year-old man and I'm not watching cartoons.
But you can't say that if you haven't seen one.
Everybody's looking forward to your review of Bob's Burgers. I won't be there. Go on. What else did you watch?
Oh my god. Okay, no, because you didn't review it. Perfect Blue. It was actually really good. It was really good. Yeah. Really great animation style. Really creative.
I'll put that on my never to watch list.
And I watched this morning. I watched Y Tu Mama Tambien.
Oh,
Alfonso Cuarón.
I love that film.
Was
that your first time seeing it?
That was my first time seeing it. It was fantastic.
First off, that woman is unbelievably hot. Secondly, I mean, let's not lie. Good God.
No, she is very attractive.
Very attractive young lady. And second, really good film. Oh, yeah. Y Tu Mama Tambien. Very good film. So
Alfonso Cuarón is extremely talented.
Yeah, he's the shit, as they say. All right, and how are you feeling? And then we'll get off this whole COVID thing. How are you feeling?
Nervous because I'm supposed to test out. I have the ability to test out of quarantine tomorrow. If I take a COVID test tomorrow and I'm negative, I can leave.
Okay.
I don't feel good. Like I don't feel
great.
Not sick. I don't feel healthy.
Right.
And my roommate was supposed to test out today, and or yesterday actually, right? Yeah, yesterday, and he tested positive yesterday and today. So I'm worried that this may elongate my stay in this room.
What is your roommate doing? He tested positive twice, so he has to stay another week, another day, does he test every day? How's this work?
Testing. You just keep testing until you get out.
So tomorrow is the first day that you could possibly be released.
Yes.
And if you still come back positive, you have to keep testing each day until you get what? 1 negative or 2 days worth of negatives, or do you not know?
1 negative. Once I get 1 negative test, I'm done. I'm out.
Okay. So let's discuss how we're going to cheat this test.
Yeah, I was
thinking pouring
water in the test?
Do you need me to come down and pee on a stick or something? Or can I send you my urine?
If for some reason my school is watching this, I'm not. This is a bit. I'm going to do it seriously.
It's a bit, but seriously, I can get you clean urine.
I will say we did get in trouble last night. I don't feel bad about this.
Why would you do?
So last night, Kendrick Lamar dropped his first album in 5 years, which was a very big event for me.
Uh-huh.
And so me and my COVID roommate.
I love how you have to. You think I don't know that.
I just got an email from my RD too.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
Let's read it. Let's find out. Let's read it live. What is first off? You got an email.
Let me tell the story, and then I'll read the email.
Okay, so as we all know, Kendrick Lamar's new album dropped yesterday, and it's been 27 years since his last one.
It's been 5 years, and so we were like, look, me and Ben are gonna have want to listen to this together, and we invited one of my other COVID positive friends to come over and listen to it with us because we're like, well, we know he's by himself,
right?
So just he's like a couple doors down, so just throw a mask on and come over, and then we'll just listen to the album here, and then you can go back home at night.
Mm-hmm.
And somehow I guess the RD found out, the resident director found out that a third person was in the room, and so they came to our window today, and they were like, "Where's Michael?" And I was like, "Who is Michael? No one I know is, or no, it was Matthew." And I was like, I have a friend named Matthew, but no one that I've seen in the last week.
Right.
And I was like, who's Matthew? And they're like, we're looking for Matthew. And I was like, no one in this room has ever been named Matthew. And they were like, okay. Well, we got reports there was a third person in this dorm last night. And I was like, yeah, it was our COVID positive friend. We're listening to the new Kendrick Lamar album together. We were all COVID positive, so no one was exposed. And they're like, well, you can't do that. And I was like, oh, okay.
All right.
And they're like, if you do it again, you're gonna get written up. And I was like, okay. Maybe get my food right and give me air conditioning. Maybe put me in a livable space and let me be. And then maybe I wouldn't break your rule that makes no sense.
Just to be clear here, Jackson, I'm paying thousands of dollars for this, right? This is something you wanted to do? Okay. All right, just want to be clear on that. What does the email say from the RD now? Is this like a warning?
Okay. Based on a report I received from a professional staff, as well as another student. So it was a student, Ben.
Okay, what did they say?
Okay. Based on a report I received from a professional staff, as well as another student, it sounds like you are violating our isolation policies. I would like to reiterate the following. You are COVID positive. and should not be engaging with any people other than your self-isolation roommate. In addition, please be mindful that you are not hosting other guests in your isolation space. This includes having conversations with others through your door or window. Bro. That's been our only contact with the outside world. How are we supposed to get food, like...
I think he's jealous he wasn't invited. And we should have another party and ask him if he wants to come.
Wow.
Oh my god. Huh?
Is that all it says?
Yeah, that was it.
And that's
a gall.
That's
like, under any sort of like punishment?
No, there's no punishment. He just wanted to reiterate the rules, I guess.
Okay, so that's Ben in the background, right? Your new roommate?
Let's do it again.
Yeah.
Right. How are you and Ben holding up? Have you it's just the two of you in the room, right? Are you guys starting to find each other attractive, or is it one of those like is it like a Midnight Express thing where when in prison for so long you do what you have to? Or
no, we've been holding it down. We've been holding it together. He brought his PC, so we've been playing some video games.
Yeah, I know what you mean by playing video games. That's great. So okay, so let's say worst case scenario, you test negative tomorrow.
Yep.
You have finals next week. What's going to happen with that? What happons? You have to take the final. I don't know. You don't know. All right. Well, here's the good news. You're going to be back there next year anyways, no matter what, and maybe you'll just do your freshman year all over again. So, I don't know. It's all... First off, I guarantee you're not the only kids in quarantine right now, I assume, right? There's probably a lot of kids.
No, yeah, we're definitely not. Yeah, I know that. I would just prefer to have my last weekend of first year of college be...
it would really
outside to some degree.
You know what would really suck, though, is if you were graduating this week. And, there's the commencement and the robe.
Real bummer.
That would have been a real bum. So, I'm going to keep my fingers crossed. Unfortunately, the bad news is that you can, most likely, there's a chance you could have some false positives for a while just because the antibodies are so prevalent in your body right now. That does happen sometimes. You're not contagious anymore. You actually don't have it, but you're still testing positive. So my advice to you is take as many rapid tests as you can until one comes up negative.
They only gave me 2.
Okay, well, I'll bring you some. If you need more, let me know.
Okay. I think it has to be theirs, though. They only accept the ones that they give out.
Okay. Well, then you're fucked. Okay. Yep. So there you have it. Well, that's your big exciting news for the week. That's what's been going on with you. You haven't been able out to go and see movies. Hey, I got some exciting news I don't even think you know yet. For those of you watching, look real closely, watching on the YouTube, I look really jaundiced today. Do you see how green I look? Do you see?
Oh, yeah. Well, I think I do know what this is about, actually.
Oh, did you hear about this?
I did.
So I got makeup all over my face right now, and not because of this podcast. I could care less about that, but I had to go to an audition today, and I'm trying to cover the 2 black eyes that I have, and a giant incision right here between my 2 eyes. I ran into the steel bottom of a loading dock door.
Wait, you ran into it?
I walked into it so hard that it slid.
I thought it fell on you.
No. So, long story short, I'm not going to make... For reasons I won't get into, a loading dock door was halfway down. It could be all... Why are you laughing? You motherfucker. Why are you laughing? You guys can't see this.
Because I thought it fell on you. So I was like, oh, it's out of his control.
No,
he couldn't have stopped it from happening.
I want you
You did this to yourself.
Yeah. I want you to imagine a loading dock door that was just not all the way... It was, about 6 feet off the ground. I'm 6'3", and I literally... I'm walking, I'm looking at my phone, leaving the gym after a workout. It's like 8:30 at night, so it's kind of dark, but I can see the pavement continue, so I'm like, oh, the loading dock door is open. Dude, I slammed into this thing so hard, it shook the foundation of my soul. I immediately thought I had ruptured my entire skull. I don't know if you rupture a skull, but... And then there's one other woman at the gym at that point, Amy, and she looks at me and she's like... Are you okay? Because obviously my hand is over my head, and then suddenly I've got blood running down my nose. You know how head wounds get.
Yeah.
At first I didn't want to go get checked. It's night. There was no urgent cares open, so Needless to say, a few hours in the emergency room, and they ended up gluing. They didn't have to stitch it. They glued it.
That's good.
But, of course, I had an audition yesterday. I had one today, and so I've been trying to cover it with makeup, but now it looks like shit. It looks, I don't know. Look on YouTube. I need to take it off. I just came from the audition, or else I would have, but I'm trying to cover it, but I'm sure the casting people were like, you look like an idiot. Why do you have all that makeup all over your face? So that hurt, and I have 2 black eyes. And that's been my exciting week. And then,
wow.
Yeah. But you are coming home next week. I'm excited about that. We get to see some films together.
I am. Summertime.
Yeah.
It's summer time, and after next week, my finals are done. I'll be COVID negative, and I'll have the antibodies, so I can just start spitting on anything I want.
Yeah. You can come to my gym. We can work out a little bit. You can try not to break your head open on the loading.
My lung capacity right now is messed up too. I just noticed that.
Are you going to be a long hauler? Do you think you're going to be one of those long haulers? I hope not. God forbid.
I haven't lost my taste of my sense of taste. Everything tastes normal to me.
How would you know with all the shitty food they've been sending you?
No, literally. But I know my smell is kind of gone, but I think it's just because I'm congested, so that's been fine. But my lung capacity has been like it's less. It's not as much as
I have a couple friends who I know are long haulers, older than you, obviously. Those are usually the people who struggle with it. I even know one guy who's like going through studies through I think the University of Central Florida. He's been dealing with it so long. And then I know some people who've been, quote unquote long haulers for a couple months. Like I have a client, young lady I train who probably about 3 months before she felt 100% as far as, why am I getting so winded? Yeah, so not to scare you. We do have a race in July, and I expect you to perform at top peak no matter what. So,
okay.
And if you aren't, I'm going to make you wear a shirt that said, I have COVID.
I have COVID? No, I had it. I have COVID.
Be like, why is that?
What the hell?
Why is that kid running so slow? Well, he's got.
That's my strategy. I start ahead of everyone else, and then they're scared to pass me because they're afraid they're getting COVID.
Yeah, and then I got the COVID. And, there you have it. So this is the PGN podcast. Parental Guidance Neglected. My son, Jackson Burns, myself, Regan Burns. We did have to take the week off, obviously, because Jackson was filming, and then he was sick with COVID. And but it is our goal to come to you once a week with all kinds of excitement. Last week we were supposed to see the big Marvel movie, Doctor Strange. You obviously still have not been able to see it. Let me ask you this, because it's been out for a while. Do you know all the big spoilers? Like, have you read enough online?
I know none of them. I'm not in those kind of online circles, like the Marvel circles, to know that much. I know he got a chance to see it.
Ben saw it. What did Ben think?
He thought it. He called it.
Ask him. What has Ben?
Multiverse of Midness. That's what he called it, because he said it was mid. It wasn't that good.
It was Multiverse of Midness. I would agree with that. If you saw my review online, I went ahead and posted it since we couldn't do the podcast. I think it was a C minus for me. Maybe C plus. It was in the C. It was somewhere there. Or maybe I was a little more generous. B minus. I have to look it up. I don't know. It depends on my mood. Sometimes
it was a B minus.
It was a B minus. It was a B minus. Yeah. I think because they're done so well, but boy, is it now? Has Ben been the kind of guy like he wants to tell you the spoilers that are in it, or like this?
No.
Wait, do you know who showed up? Okay, what did Ben think of all the cameos?
Ben, my dad wants to know what you thought of all the cameos, and do it. I haven't seen it yet, so don't spoil it.
But just in general, like of all the different new characters.
He said he got it spoiled to him before.
Oh, so he knew before going in.
Just like, can I give him kind of...
Yeah, just come here. Come give us
talk. For God's sakes, why are we doing this? Come on over.
You can. I haven't seen it, he's seen it.
Okay.
What's up, Ben?
That they did not... I can't hear him.
He says what's up.
Hey. I thought they didn't explore the multiverse enough. We didn't get to see all the different multiverses. And we kind of stayed in a couple, when if it's the multiverse of madness, we should go further. And then I guess I also thought the Sam Raimi parts were cool, but it's like he was allowed to direct a third of the movie. That's like my non-spoiler.
Non-spoilery.
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you think? What does he say?
What? he's so eloquent with his speaking. Look, listen.
He said you're
listen
very
to-
eloquent with your speaking. Oh wait, was that supposed to be a reflection on me? What is
Yes,
that?
I'm
listening to Jackson speak. I think the past 2 days have really allowed me to reflect on my vocabulary.
Yeah.
No,
What
he's
a
a producer. It's what he does.
He is a well-spoken young man. He should be on the podcast all the time.
He says he should be on the podcast all the time because you're very well spoken.
Yeah.
Am I getting kicked off my own podcast?
No. Tell him I agree. For the most part, I
says
agree.
my dad agrees with you.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Listen, I don't want to ruin it for Jackson because I'm sure you will go out and see it. And you know what? I mean, you're a Marvel guy. I mean, you're not a geek about it, but you watch them. I think you will enjoy it. Fine.
Yeah.
We've talked about this before. I don't think Doctor Strange is either one of our favorite characters from that world. I
like the first one. I thought it had some cool moments in it, but I don't think I was like, as crazy about it as it was like Winter Soldier or Infinity War or anything like that.
I remember we talked about it and we said I made predictions. We kind of both made predictions of where the film was going to go. Yeah. I think we both said like, oh, they're both going to find different versions of themselves, and there's going to be an evil, Doctor Strange and an evil Scarlet Witch. And I will say this: I was a little surprised it didn't quite go that way.
Oh,
It did to a point.
Interesting.
But the person who ends up really kind of being the villain was a bit of a surprise to me. Without giving away to you, but my big complaint with all these Marvel films is I feel like they're starting to get very formulaic and predictable, and even Thor that comes out in a few weeks, I'm like, oh look, it's Thor. We're gonna do Ragnarok again. There's gonna be some guest stars, and this time it's Guardians of the Galaxy. We know that they're in it. We already know Natalie Portman's showing up as the new Thor, the She-Thor, or whatever the hell we're calling her. I just nothing surprises me anymore. And the one thing that
is Taika Waititi directing that one?
I don't know. Can you look that up, Mini Jamie?
I got it.
I don't know. That's a great question. I would think they would. Normally, if a film would, Ragnarok, he did. Normally, when a film does that well, they're going to pay a crap load of money to bring the director back for it. So,
and he's one of the characters also. So
he does the voice of the big rock thing, right?
Yeah. What's his name?
I don't know. He's so hot right now. He's in everything, or directing everything, or starring in everything. Anyways, so Jackson still hasn't seen Doctor Strange. For those, Korg, is that his name? Korg.
Yeah, Korg.
Korg, isn't that the name of the treats you give your dogs to chew on? Isn't that the thing you put like peanut butter in the middle of?
That's Kong.
Oh, that's a Kong. Okay.
Kong. Close.
Kong,
one
Korg.
letter off.
Close enough. So we really don't have a ton to talk about. Maybe we'll revisit Strange when Jackson gets out of prison.
Yeah, definitely.
And finally gets to see it. A couple quick announcements before we get into our other films. One, I wanted to give a shout out to your nephew. My nephew, your cousin, I guess, Jackson, Cole Conks. You know he's a huge fan of ours. Isn't that awesome?
I do. Shout out Cole.
Yeah, but he was very upset that we didn't have an episode next week. But I told him it was all your fault, and he understands.
Oh, good. Okay, good to know.
Yeah.
The proper blame
David Goldstein. Yeah, I know. Well, you've let us all down. But, I've been with you for 19 years, so I'm used to it. David Goldstein from back in my days in Virginia, buddy of mine, his brother, also one of my best friends back then and still now. He wants to know what we thought. For some reason, he really wants us to watch Father Stew, which we were good to see, and then neither one of us could bring ourselves to go watch Mark Wahlberg and Mel Gibson preach.
What do you think about What do you think about Mark Wahlberg?
He's horrible.
I don't like Mark Wahlberg.
He's horrible.
I don't like him that much.
He's horrible unless he's playing Mark Wahlberg, which he does really well in Boogie Nights, and he does really well in the other guys. Hey, goat, tell your mom I said hi. I mean, I can't do a Wahlberg impersonation, but Yeah,
I always forget he's in Boogie Nights because he's good in Boogie Nights, but he's never he's not what you remember. Like I remember Philip Seymour Hoffman. I remember the crazy drug dealer scene with why am I blanking on that actor's name?
Alfred Molina.
Just those are the parts. I never remember Mark Wahlberg.
He is surrounded by so many good actors in that. Julianne Moore and Burt Reynolds.
Yeah.
And John C. Reilly is so. The scenes with him and John C. Reilly are fantastic.
Oh yeah, great.
But it's, I mean, oh my God, I could watch the outtakes from Step Brothers. With him and Will Ferrell, how many times have you seen Step Brother?
Oh yeah.
My God, what a hilarious film! He's so good. So
so
yeah,
good.
But he's adequate. But he's adequate in that. But you don't go, wow.
And you know what John C. Reilly is great in? The Lobster.
Whatever. Why are you?
The Lobster. A good movie. Thank you.
It's a movie that continues to pop up on our torture film list. And Speaking of torture films, once a month here, we kind of have a protocol that we started out with. We'll see how long we stick with it. We like it right now. I pick a great film for us to watch. Jackson picks a great film. And then we turn to you guys, the audience, to pick a great film to watch. And then our torture film, our Clockwork Orange, if you will, the movie you are forcing us to watch. First off, our film this week, I have to make a correction. I said that this was recommended by Colin Fullerton. In fact, it was not. This was a suggestion from another one of our listeners, John Krenus. John, I hope I'm saying your name right, fellow actor out there. This was his suggestion, and a stellar one. Teaser, I think. He recommended for just an absolutely horrific film for us to watch. We picked it this month. It's from 1990. It stars Corey Haim. Rest in peace, Corey. He's
passed.
Corey, you're kidding, right?
I've seen Corey Haim in now 2 movies. It's not like I didn't grow up with Corey Haim.
Corey Haim OD'd on drugs. He battled massive addiction, was blacklisted in Hollywood, did some reality TV, did some really low-budget stuff, and I want to say he passed in 2010, I think.
Okay.
So yeah, Corey Haim has passed, and Patricia Arquette is in this, who is actually going on to be a fantastic actress. Flirting with Disaster, True Romance. If you ever see Jackson, a miniseries called Escape at Dannemora that Ben Stiller directed, she's great in that. She's supposed to be great in Severance, which I think is on Apple TV right now. This was one of her first films. And Christopher Collet, who he was the main villain. Gary, is that what his name was?
Yep. It was Gary, but they call him by his full name every time. Gary Lee.
Gary Lee. Yeah, Gary Lee. The villain, Christopher Collet, who I recognized. He was in a movie called Firstborn back in the 80s with Peter Weller and Terry Garr. I think this might have been his last big film in Hollywood, and there's a reason. He was possibly.
He looks very similar to the antagonist in Lost Boys, because I was like, that looks just like.
Yeah. Well, he has Kiefer Sutherland's mullet.
But yes, he has Kiefer Sutherland's mullet. He does.
Speaking of mullets, I'm watching the film. The film is Prayer of the Rollerboys, by the way. That was our torture film John recommended this week. And I got to be honest with you, Jackson, I'm watching Christopher Mullet, that's what I'll call him, Christopher Collett, his mullet. I was just thinking, that's my son's haircut. You're rocking the mullet. I just kept thinking the whole.
It's not that bad.
Oh, take it.
It's not
turn it
that
on YouTube.
Bad. Come on.
It's
not that bad.
Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm telling you right now.
Okay.
I'm gonna put up the teaser for this week's episode. Is gonna be you in a side by side with a picture of him.
Okay, here I'll give you a side profile right now. Ready?
Yes, give us a side profile.
Okay. We're
gonna put that picture up. That's still against his shot from Prayer of the Rollerboys, and we'll see if you're actually killing the the late 80s, early 90s mold. You could have been the villain, man. You could have been the villain.
I could have done it. That should have been
me. Jackson, explain this film. This 1990s...
So, Prayer of the Rollerboys is a story of a young man who is... He's a teenager in a dystopian future where I don't know exactly what's gone wrong, but it seems like America has fallen.
Yeah.
All of the colleges have moved to Asia.
Harvard moved to like Taiwan or something,
and
they literally moved the schools. They
brick
tore
by
the
brick,
buildings
they
down.
moved Harvard
where he really wants to go. Yeah, America somehow got in so much debt that. And I love that the post-apocalyptic world that we now live in was pretty much just Venice Beach and Santa Monica Pier.
It pretty much was. They were like, there's homeless people, and like people are selling things on the street, and I'm like, wow, we're just in Los Angeles. What is...
And some people were in prison, but some people were still getting pizza delivered. But you had to carry a machine gun when you delivered pizza, and... Oh,
and everyone is addicted to this new drug called Mist, and that's a big part of the plot. Everyone wants the Mist. But,
apparently Mist is made in a flatbed truck, just one truck, and it's just pretty much a mix of what looks to be...
It's 3 ingredients. It's 3 ingredients.
Yes.
3 different colored powders. I think he says a little bit of yellow, a little bit of blue, and a little bit of red. And then that's the ingredients for Mist.
And then you put it in one of those machines that has blinking lights on it, and then out shoots the mist.
But there's a secret ingredient that they're also adding in, and this is where the Rollerboys come in. Yeah. So while technically the America has fallen, there is a counter-terrorist organization that is being run by teenage boys on roller skates who are also funding their operation, and also they're racist, which is a really weird throwaway line,
right?
Because I was halfway through, and then he's talking. The main protagonist is talking to his little brother, who's thinking of joining, and he's like, "But they're racists," and I was like, "That was a really weird."
Yeah, I had to think about that. I was like, "Where were they?" Then I guess they're racist because they're wearing the white jackets, and they're wearing something that looks kind of
Aryan. They have a cross, almost like a German thing.
And then there is a scene where they're like beating the hell out of the African American.
You're not going to get this reference, but for Jake, who's probably watching this, they pulled a Dance with the Devil by Immortal Technique halfway through this movie. It was insane. It was like it was that weird scene where they're beating up the main protagonist has been raised by this older African American gentleman, and then there's this one scene where they're all beating up this, and it's so obvious it's his father figure.
And I kept
but
going,
he has a bag over his head. So
I keep going, where's the scene where Corey Haim suddenly? And first off, Corey Haim's really into beating the crap out of this black guy.
Yeah.
Until he finds out it's the black guy who kind of raised him. And then he's like, "Oh, this is racist and bad." A second ago, well, I should also say he's undercover. Like he's been hired by the police to try to infiltrate.
To go under the Rollerboys. But here's the thing, is that the Rollerboys they advertise themselves as this anti-government force.
Right.
But their big master plan is just to sterilize drug users.
Right.
That's their goal.
Sometimes they're actually doing charity work, like they're giving out food. Yeah. And then the other times they're like, we're going to buy that factory and turn it into an energy source. And they talk about how they're going to run freight. This is a wild, insane
so much
film.
Is happening.
Yeah.
So much is happening. And there's just there's really weird communist imagery associated with the Rollerboys. It was a lot of where I was like, this is really weird. But then, and they also kind of it starts out set up as the bad guys is the police and America. But then it's the Rollerboys are the bad guys.
Yeah.
But here's the crazy part. They set it up for a sequel.
Oh, they did. It was wide open for a sequel.
Oh my gosh. They were waiting for it.
We never got the sequel. What did you think of obviously this was building off of the premise of how hot rollerblading was. That was the hot thing at the time. You're a little young, but this was the first time we went from roller skates to rollerblades, and everyone was doing it. So there was a lot of I love the way the bad guys, when they rollerblade, their arms do that side to side
with the trench coat on. I was like, what is they doing? They were if you haven't seen the movie, which is very likely, it's they transport in 3 very long rows, and they all move their hands side by side in unison as they're roller skating or rollerblading, should I say?
Yeah.
But as someone who didn't grow up around the time when rollerblading was like a thing, I feel like it's very hard to look cool while you're rollerblading. That's just my opinion.
Try really hard.
They do.
But there's at least 3 big like chase scenes.
Yeah.
And apparently it's impossible to shoot anybody who's rollerblading. I was like, even if you have a
just
machine
going in a straight line.
Sometimes
wow.
They're moving in a linear form. You've got an semi-automatic machine gun just riddling bullets, but you can't quite hit a guy on rollerblades. There's a lot of jumping.
I just what was I just gonna say? Like, why is Corey Haim so good at rollerblading? Also, like I was like, wow, this is kind of. I'm a little bit impressed. Like,
he actually. I read he did most of his stunts. Yeah, he did most of his stunts. I think. I was
impressed.
Some of the bigger stuff probably not, but a lot of it he did. I don't know. I mean, it's such a throwback film. I think here's the weird thing. I think at the time that it came out, if I had seen it, I probably would have gone, this is horrible. I don't know if I think it's as horrible now. I mean,
really?
Luckily, it's only an hour and a half. The acting is horrific.
The acting is horrific, but I will say the one character, the buff blonde dude, who was like trapped, I liked his character a lot, and it made me. I thought he was a redeeming.
You know what? His name is Tom Peregrino or Pelagano. Look up his name, Tom Peregrino. He has actually besides Patricia Arquette and Corey Haim, he's the one other guy I recognized, and he actually has been working consistently in Hollywood, and he was even in Lost. I'm almost positive he was in Lost.
Really?
Yeah, he's done some.
He was
really
in The Big
good
Lebowski.
Work. Yeah.
Wow. He was in The Big Lebowski, Mulholland Drive.
Yeah.
He was in National Treasure. Oh, he was in National Treasure. I kind of recognize him now. He was good in this. I liked him in this.
He was actually pretty good in that. You know who was the absolute worst besides Christopher Collett?
I know who you're going to say.
The kid.
Oh my God, that kid was...
The kid was horrible. First off, half of his lines were ADR. Half of his lines were ADR, which means that they were lines that were added afterwards. I can only assume because the reads he gave on screen were horrible, and they sound like they were done in a studio afterwards and put in post. Yeah. And it just he is so horrifically bad when he's strung out on drugs or it just. Oh my gosh!
He gives that little I'm like, come on, man.
I mean, it was an absolutely horrific film. I can see how it killed Corey Haim even more. God bless Patricia Arquette. She climbed out of that dumpster fire. But I'm gonna tell you, thank God it was only an hour and a half. I actually kind of enjoyed watching it, for as bad and as kitschy as it was. Okay. On my scale of, which I like to do the grades, I'm gonna give it, at a pure throwback and campy fun, I'm gonna give it a C-.
Wow. A C-.
Because I'm sure it took itself seriously at the time, but it kind of has that Showgirls thing where you go, I can't stop watching this.
It rode that line for me. It was right on the line of like, I can't tell if I'm enjoying this or if I'm watching a car crash and I can't look away.
Oh, you're watching a car crash. It's definitely a car crash.
Yeah. So I gave this, I go off a 10-point number scale. I give this a 2 out of 10.
2 out of 10.
2 out of 10.
Look, it deserves a 0 and an F, but I can't lie. I wanted to keep. There are films that if I turn on, I go, you know that we've watched films where we go, I can't even watch this anymore.
Oh yeah, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't turning off bad.
Yes.
A couple things I do want to mention before we move on from this though. Why were there so many naked women? Like, just for no reason. That was just so.
Jackson, if I have to explain to you as a filmmaker why you can sometimes benefit from a breast shot, I mean, yes, but you are correct. There would suddenly just be topless women for I can't imagine what the producers were thinking when they
Yeah,
did that.
why would they do that? That's so strange.
Yeah, that's so strange. So yeah, I think you know the
there
answer
was
to that question.
And I just want to say, like, the Bullwinkle character, like that whole arc.
He was he was horrible.
Why did he hate him so much? He saved his life. I didn't get it. I was like, he saved his life at the beginning of the movie, and then immediately he was like, I hate this guy. I hate him so much. And I was like, why?
The fact that you're trying to apply logic to anything in
I know, but I have to.
Did we mention this is a post-apocalyptic movie where a gang of rollerbladers?
That's true. That enough should disqualify it from any questions.
That should be
That's
enough.
a good point. That's a good point. Yeah.
John Krenus, that was an excellent choice for a
great pick.
Quote-unquote terrible film. That's the thing. I like a good, terrible movie that I still enjoy watching on some level because either it's a nostalgic thing or you go, this couldn't get any worse, and it does. Those are the ones.
This was a little bit below that for me. I think The Apple was the perfect example of that.
Yeah,
the Apple was... The Apple got... You think this was crazy? The Apple turned it up to 11.
Yeah,
I don't know how we're ever gonna...
Yeah, Danielle Koenig has set the bar very high with her suggestion of The Apple.
Very high.
In the meantime, as we move into the month of May, please, on the YouTube comments section or Instagram or TikTok, suggest great films we should see or really, really bad films. And you could tell we like the terrible, terrible ones that are so bad.
Bottom of the dumpster, like dollar store DVD rack.
Yeah, if we can hunt them down, we have to be able to hunt them down. So
yeah, but findable. Findable. So it's your week to pick our movie for this week, right?
Yeah. I do have. So as I say, it'll be a great film for this month. The one other thing I say before we get to that is I did see Firestarter.
Oh yeah.
And I won't go into it because again, it's no fun if you haven't seen it as well. But I only want to mention it because it probably will be out of theaters by next week. That is my prediction.
Yeah, so I don't know anything about... I've never even heard of that movie still, except for you, from you.
Firestarter is the only release this week. I'm assuming most of the studios stayed away from this weekend because Doctor Strange is still running supreme at the theaters. Firestarter is actually a remake of a film from, I believe, the 80s, and that film, of course, was based on the Stephen King book Firestarter. So this is yet another one of those remakes of a movie that was adapted from a Stephen... Like, they've made every Stephen King book or short story into a movie. Yeah. Now that they've done that, they have to remake all of them again. So very much like Pet Sematary, which they've now done twice, or Carrie, that they've now done twice. This is this is now the second version of Firestarter. The very first original one, Jackson, starred a young Drew Barrymore. This was right after she was in E.T. She was still a little girl, which basically tells the story of a telekinetic family, and the little girl's power is that she can, throw fire, start fire. She gets mad, and things catch on fire. It's an hour and a half, thankfully. It inexplicably stars Zac Efron, who for some reason thought this was the next step in his career.
Wow, okay.
I'm not quite sure exactly why. It starts promising enough. I'd say about 20 minutes in, I thought we might be onto something here, and then quickly delves into extreme boredom and a very convoluted and unsatisfying ending. Firestarter is again, I can't think of one Stephen King remake film, with the exception of the first It, which I really liked, that has been worthy of having a second film, and this continues that streak of films that did not need to be made. On my scale of A to F, the remake of Firestarter gets a very solid D. So there you have it.
Wow. Okay.
Really not much worth discussing. Since we're on it, though, Stephen King, do you have like a favorite? You haven't seen all of them.
I haven't seen that many. I mean, I've seen The Shining. It's.
Do you know?
We're talking movies here.
Do you know that Stephen King hates that film?
I do know that.
That's one of his most popular adaptations to the big screen, and he hates it.
I don't know what. I hate to say this, but I don't know what he expected by giving Kubrick Because he knew it wasn't going to be the same as the book. Because
No.
it's Kubrick, and he's going to Kubrickify it.
He's going to make it very odd and weird and different. Which is crazy. Stephen King actually loved the sequel to The Shining, which just came out a couple years ago.
I got horrible reviews.
Yeah, I saw it. It was dreadful with Ewan McGregor,
I think
who
he
love.
just likes it when people keep it true to the source material, but you can't.
Yeah.
It's really hard to do that, and I don't know. The Shining. I've never read The Shining. It's the book, but the movie is fantastic. It's I mean, that's not a hot take or anything, but great movie.
I think when you say top 3 Stephen King films, you probably go, in no particular order, top 3. Everyone always goes The Shining, Shawshank Redemption, and Stand By Me. Stand By Me. I think those are the 3. Then you kind of get to the next tier of films. You know, some people love the first Carrie. Cujo, which to me was like, it's a dog. I'm not going to be scared.
The one with the writer, isn't that Stephen King or am I super crazy?
Misery. But Misery I feel like was a performance. The movie's fine. It's really just Kathy Bates' performance that makes it. But then you get it's kind of the lower tier whatever ones. The Stand was actually pretty good. It was a TV miniseries. It was not too bad. I enjoyed that, but again, I don't know why we have to make Stephen King movies over again, but
no,
the
I don't
studio's
understand
going to
that
keep
either.
trying. Yeah. So, there you have it. That's kind of it for films. Go ahead, sir.
We have one more thing to talk about.
Because
you made me watch the Avatar trailer before we sat down here.
That's true. So, Jackson and I do this thing where while we're apart, I don't know why we just started it, but like if we're in a film, we just kind of text back and forth to each other the trailers that we saw. We're like, oh, if you go see Doctor Strange, get ready. You're going to see blah, 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 blah. Obviously, for those who haven't seen it on the internet, it was only in theaters for a few days, but now they released it for screening. The big new trailer this week is the much anticipated, is it though? Is it? Trailer for Avatar.
Are you aware of the statistics?
Read me the statistics.
It's the most viewed movie trailer of all time.
Already. It's only been out for this weekend. Really?
And this is so funny because I have a story for this actually. So
okay, go ahead.
Me and my roommate were just talking about this. He was the one that told me it was the most viewed trailer of all time. And I was like, really? And we both agreed that we had never met anyone who was like a massive Avatar fan.
No.
Cut to the day later, I'm in my Spanish final interview where I was talking to my Spanish teacher in Spanish, whatever.
How'd that go?
And I asked what her favorite.
How'd that go?
I didn't think it went well, but apparently she did because she gave me a grade on it.
Jackson, I think I speak for the entire audience when I say I think for the remainder of this episode you should speak in Spanish.
I will be very quiet then. It will be a very, very, very soft-spoken outro to this podcast. But she said that Avatar was her favorite movie. And I was like, wow. That's like, I don't know. And I haven't seen it, so I can't speak on it. But
here's what you need to know before we get in the trailer about Avatar. Here's what you need to know about the film. When the film came out, it was an amazing experience to see on the big screen because at that point in time, it was very much like Jurassic Park. At that point in time, you had not seen that kind of visual effects and you had not seen that kind of 3D. Then, when all that kind of wore off and everyone went, yeah, I don't need to see that again. That wasn't that great a story. It actually wasn't that great a film. And that's kind of Avatar. We actually, one of Jackson's friends growing up, or I should say their mother actually has been working on the sequels, the Avatar 2 and 3, which they filmed simultaneously in New Zealand and around the world for, I don't know what. She's been working on that for 10, 15 years now, it seems?
Oh, it's got to be, yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, the trailer dropped. It's apparently, according to Jackson, the most watched movie trailer ever. You never even saw the first one, Jackson, so I don't know how much excitement was
I watched the trailer
it.
and I was like, wow, this looks really cool. I don't know anything that's happening right now. I was like, this all looks beautiful, but I don't know any characters or who these things are. But
I'm wondering if since it's been so long and there's a generation of kids like you who really haven't seen this, unless your parents made you watch it, I'm wondering if they should or they will release the first one in theaters so you can see it on the big screen. Would you go see the first one if they did?
I would. And here's the thing, too, is that they have films 2 and 3, but they're locked in for 4 and 5. Like, 4 and 5 are happening.
Are you serious?
Yeah, they're making 5.
I don't know who's that excited to hear the story about the blue people anymore.
I don't either. And then I talked to my Spanish teacher yesterday, and she's like, "Yeah, me and my son are very excited for Avatar."
Okay. Well, I'm glad that your Spanish
teacher
I'm just saying
and
that, like, little Javier are excited to see it.
No, I'm just saying that those are like the 2 people I've ever talked to that are excited for this.
Well, somebody must be excited because it's the most watched trailer of all time,
and it's the movie that's made the most money ever. I think it got surpassed by Endgame, right? Or something like that.
Yeah. Endgame passed.
Never mind. They re-released it, and then they made more money again. So it's back on top.
There you have it. That sounds like something Cameron would do. I will let you know, as somebody who saw the first Avatar, my reaction to the trailer, and I saw the trailer on the big screen before Doctor Strange. My reaction was, as soon as I saw it was Avatar, I was like, "Oh, I bet this is going to blow my mind." My first reaction was, it looked like more of the same.
Yeah,
like there was
didn't.
Nothing.
I mean, I've seen clips from Avatar, and it looked like Avatar.
Yeah, I'm like,
was the VFX better?
It didn't.
I mean, I'm assuming it's been so long.
You could tell that they had done some stuff, quote unquote, underwater. And that seems to be the theme of it. I think it's called like The Shape of Water or The World of Water or Here Comes the Water or Let the Water In, or I don't know what it is. So it looked like, maybe they've done some... The Way of Water. But there was nothing... I was like, there's those characters I didn't care about before, and they're back. And my big problem too, I remember with the first one, is that I would get the characters confused because I was like, which blue person is that? Which blue person is that?
Right.
I don't know. Obviously I'll see it, but it certainly didn't get me excited. Was there anything about it as a filmmaker or a film student? You're a filmmaker that you saw and you went like, wow, that looks like, damn, that looks good.
There was a moment where I was like, that looks bad, because there's a human amongst them, I guess. Like, that's what I got from the trailer, is a person that lives among them and has a mask on. And he hugged one of them at some point, and I was like, you're not hugging anything, man. You're holding the air right now. That's not a thing you're touching.
That's the worst, when they try to... that's like the Jar Jar Binks thing, when you're like, you can see them looking and talking to Jar Jar Binks, and you're like, you're looking at a tennis ball on a string now for your eye lines.
Exactly.
I can tell there's nothing there that you're acting off of. Yeah. What do you do? Avatar is the big trailer, and I swear to God, thank God Maverick is getting ready to open, because if I see that Top Gun trailer one more time, with that said, as we're recording this, I was just reading the reviews on the new Top Gun movie are through the roof. I mean,
really?
Yes, everyone's saying it is amazing. They were like, if Top Gun, the first one, was a fun film, they're like, this is a great film. Huh. I think Variety or New York Times or someone has already called it the best film of the year so far.
Okay, I already have so much beef just coming. No shot at the Top Gun sequel.
I know. But I'm just telling. I mean, we'll be seeing that. You'll be home, so maybe you and I will go see that in IMAX or something and try to take it in. I have no idea, but I'm just so glad that that's finally opening, that I don't have to sit through that trailer one more time.
No, thank God. I can't see it anymore.
I'm just letting you know. But here's the thing. There's so much hype around it. When something gets hyped that big, buddy, that's when I start going, I don't think so. Got a lot to live up to.
Yep.
Here at the PGN podcast, Jackson Burns, Regan Burns. We have next week. Now next week's going to be tricky, so we're going to do our best. We'll throw a podcast together somehow, some way. I am heading to Washington D.C. next week to run a race.
I'm also moving back from college.
Jackson is moving back from college, but this is the week before Top Gun. The only big release next week is a movie I'm excited about. I know Jackson is too. It's another one from our friends over at A24. Is the movie Men. I'm
so excited for this.
Yeah. If you have not seen the trailer yet, check that out. I think we're both very anxious to see it, and we're going to do our very, very best, even though it opens next Thursday night or Friday, depending on the theater. But maybe we can make that happen. That's the big film. And then, of course, Top Gun the week after. Also, though, it's my week to suggest a great film that for some reason slipped through the cracks that I have not seen. I know my son hasn't seen because I've been living with him for half of his life. We don't talk about the orphan.
More than that.
We don't talk about the orphan years. I got the idea to see this film because, well, one, it's one, that I have never seen. When I saw yet more ads for a show that I think it's on Paramount Plus right now. It's called The Offer. It is a behind-the-scenes series. It's with Miles. What's his name? He's in Top Gun 2. Miles from
Miles Teller.
Yeah, Miles Teller. It's a show called The Offer on Paramount Plus, and it's behind the scenes about the producer and the making of the movie The Godfather. And an interesting bit of trivia that I found out about The Godfather is that the producer, I forget his name right now, had to, or not just the producer, but also the director, Francis Ford Coppola of The Godfather, had to fight really, really hard to get Al Pacino in The Godfather. The studio did not want him. He hadn't done anything before The Godfather. He was kind of a New York actor. He had done some plays on Broadway, but they wanted a movie star. They wanted, somebody really big, and Coppola had to really, really fight for him. Al Pacino had only done one movie before The Godfather. It is a film from 1971. It is called Panic at Needle Park. I believe it has something to do with drugs.
Interesting.
Yeah, Needle Park being, I believe, a part of Central Park where a lot of heroin addicts hung out. I think that is correct. It was a very critically acclaimed film. It got some prestige at Cannes Film Festival in 1971. I know the lead actress, Kitty Wynn, who I don't think really went on to do much else. She won, I think, Best Actress at Cannes Film Festival that year, as did the director was nominated, Jerry Schatzberg. And, of course, it was Al Pacino's first film. I think he had done like one or two short student things before that. But this was his first major film.
Interesting.
It is one of the, I think, maybe one of the only Al Pacino movies I have never seen.
The Panic in Needle Park, huh?
Panic in Needle Park. I've already made sure it's available on your Amazon Prime. So,
Perfect.
Jackson, that is our homework this week to see if there's something we saw in that first film. I want to watch and go, what did Coppola see in that movie that he went, that is the guy who has to play Michael Corleone in My Godfather, my epic film. So that is our homework. So hopefully we'll definitely do Panic at Needle Park, and we'll both try desperately to see Men.
It's called, by the way, the Panic in Needle Park.
The Panic in Needle Park. There you go. The Panic in Needle. Thank you, Jamie, for looking that up over in the
got you.
In the research bay.
In the booth.
So now here's the thing. If Jackson comes back and he still has test positive for an STD tomorrow, then all bets are off. I don't know what's going to happen if he still has the herpes, or or the syphilis, whatever. Hey, what were you quarantined for again? I can't remember what it was.
You can't remember what your own? That's wow. Huh.
I know you had something. But you're feeling okay.
By the way, thank you for telling the audience that you got hit by a door and that it wasn't actually me that punched you in the nose really hard.
Yeah, well,
I appreciate that.
That's the early years. That's why we had to send him off to that special military camp for a couple years. Have you ever known anyone? If you do have any friends, or do you know of anyone who ever had to go away to like discipline camp?
No, I don't know. Probably because those kids were in the military, I guess.
Yeah.
You'd think, because they went to the camp,
Yeah.
Is that even a thing anymore?
I don't know. It was that was really big on like the Maury Povich and the talk shows like back in the a couple decades.
Really,
we're gonna bring camp? Yeah, they would bring the problem kids on the TV show, and then some Marine boot camp guy would come out and go, "You gotta respect your mother and your father, and you're going away with us," and they would be like, "F you," and then they would somehow finally break them down so they would cry, and that would make great TV, and there you have it.
Yeah, nothing better than some kids having a mental breakdown for some good reality TV.
Yeah, exactly. So I know most of our audience is probably extremely excited to see your picture next to the villain from Prayer of the Rollerboys.
I'm excited to see that. I want to see how my hair compares to his.
Yeah, it's party in the back and business in the front a little bit. Get you on some rollerblades. I'm gonna have to figure out my my Photoshop skills and see if I can put your face on one of those posters or something with your little arms going.
That's so funny.
Side to side or whatever. That's your homework. That's your homework tonight. I want you to do that. Somehow
great. Okay.
Somehow I need your face and your hair on Christopher Collet or whatever you say his name from Prayer of the Rollerboys. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, and then you're back next week. Now you're going to get home, and I'm going to be in Washington, but I'm going to bring my computer with me, and maybe I'll bring a mic, and we'll figure it out, or we'll
figure it out. We'll figure it out.
We'll make it happen. Anything else, buddy? You need any help with anything? You need money? You need me to call an uncle? Nope. I think
I'm good.
How's Ben feeling back there? Is he does he enjoy the show? Ask Ben if he enjoyed the show today.
Ben, my dad wants to know if you enjoyed the show today.
I thought Jackson's commentary could have been a little bit more concise.
I agree.
He says
I
agree.
I agree 100%.
Overall, I liked one
Yeah.
the show.
Okay, good. That's good to know. All
right.
I'll work on it. No, don't worry. We're working it, and we're going.
We're getting
together.
there. All right. Well, I hope everyone can tune in next week when myself and Ben will be back for the PGN podcast, and we'll have Jackson over on the side. He'll just be Jamie.
I might guess sometimes. Yeah, I'll just be Jamie.
Just
Jackson, can we get a? Wow, damn! What year did Whiplash come out? I just can't remember.
That's all we would need you for at that point. All right. Well, fingers crossed for my son Jackson. Send him good vibes that he is out of quarantine tomorrow or Sunday at the latest. And again, if you need fresh urine, just post it on TikTok, and we'll start having piss sent to you from around the world. I love how I say that. Like that's how you take a COVID test. It's like a pregnancy
by
test.
peeing on a stick.
You pee on a stick to find out if you have COVID.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to go heal my nose. Jackson's going to try not to hawk up a lung. And until next time, I'm Regan Burns.
And I'm Jackson Burns.
And this is the PGM Podcast. Love you, buddy.
Love you too.